Hey there, Taurus. Welcome to your reading for the week of March 3rd. This week, we are going to jump right in here. You have this Wish Upon a Star card and this Grand Symphony card. I'm pretty sure you've had this card with me like recently-ish, like in the past couple of months, I would say. And, that card really represents getting to the end of something, like kind of wrapping up a project, everything falling into place with a project that you're working on, or just kind of things falling into place in your life in general. And so, that's definitely a possibility for you. Wouldn't worry about the tower. You have the tower, but you have the star. And so whenever we have the tower to the tower doesn't matter because the star says you are healing from a tower moment. But overall, very positive so far. And, it's kind of interesting that all the reading, I've only done 3 readings so far. This is my 4th reading for this week, but it has been like a much more positive week, I would say, than we've had in a while. Kind of makes sense because, a lot of planets are moving forward now, like Mars went direct and everything like that, so people could be feeling more energetic or more kind of like alive, right? You have the Ace of Swords, the Two of Cups, and the Lovers. Now, with the Tower, this could be a surprise as well because we have the Star. If we didn't have the Star, different story, but again, there could be like some sort of truth that's being revealed to you, and it could be that someone is interested in you here, Taurus. So for those of you that are looking for love, this is very good. Now, the other thing that we have to talk about is that Two of Cups. Two of Cups can represent you and your higher self. And so with the Tower, this could be like an inner truth that you are revealing, especially with the Star as well. And we'll talk about that in a minute, but just connecting all the dots here, this could really be you discovering something about yourself that you want to accomplish, or you could be admitting to yourself like what you want to be when you grow up. All those things are kind of popping into my head here, and I feel that focusing on that would actually be very good for you. Now, it's kind of an interesting time. It's funny to me that that Grand Symphony card is number 27, and if you are watching this before February 27th, this video will be published on the 26th. So if you're watching it on the 26th or 27th, or even 5 days after, we have that new moon in Pisces on the 27th. That new moon is kind of like interesting because normally a Pisces new moon is kind of like looking back on the last year, so from like February to February of last year, and looking at what you have built and then kind of going from there. But this new moon is happening at 9 degrees, and personally I look at 9 degrees as a number of newness or starting something new. And so it's not like conflicting energy, but it is interesting energy because normally the Pisces new moon would represent looking back on the past of what you have built. But it's almost as if people kind of might be looking at the past and then, but also kind of thinking about what they want to build. And, it's kind of spelled out right here in your reading. Tower to the 8 of Pentacles. Tower is a tower moment, obviously. It can represent things collapsing around you or, coming down to reality. But I always say with the tower that, the tower collapses, but it always reduces down to its foundation, and then our job is to rebuild it stronger. But you go Tower to the 8 of Pentacles, and 8 of Pentacles is kind of like building something or putting the work into something. So with this new moon, even if you're watching this after the 27th, it doesn't really matter. You could be thinking about like it's not like you're rebuilding something, because I don't that's not what I feel with this new moon. But it's more like you could be reinventing something. You have the Magician, which is a card of reinvention. It's like maybe you had an idea to accomplish something in your life, and you're kind of like reinventing how you are going to present it to the world, and that's kind of the vibe I get here. You have the Two of Cups again. Could be a perfect match in love for sure. It's interesting. Well, we do have one person here. We have the King of Wands, and I feel like you always get fire with me. So, could be a fire sign, could be any sign, general reading. But the Two of Cups could be a perfect match. Two of Cups is also you and your higher self, and I would definitely be listening to your messages that you are receiving, like in your dreams and your daydreams at this time. And again, a lot of Pisces energy, so everyone is probably very tapped in. You have the Lovers, so obviously it could be love. Lovers can also be a choice that you are making, and I feel you are just making good choices at this time. We really see that. 8 of Pentacles is very focused energy, and so is the Ace of Swords. So it seems to me like you are very focused at this time, which is good. for sure. But let's see what we get here for you. With the Ace of Swords, you have the Nine of Swords. Probably what you have to overcome this week. Again, the new moon can be you looking back on what you have built. And the Nine of Swords is a never-ending nightmare. Nine of Swords can represent having a nightmare, waking up and being stuck in a nightmare. But with the Nine of Swords, again, this can say that it's time to maybe look back at some things that you want to remove, or it's time to look at some of the stories that you want to change in your life, and I feel that would be a good idea with the Nine of Swords as well. With the Two of Cups, you have the Eight of Swords. Some of you maybe have been feeling stuck in love, if you do want love, or maybe you've been feeling stuck in getting out of the house, or whatever it is. So it could be a good time for you to get out of the house with the Eight of Swords as well. With the Lovers, you have the Ten of Wands. Yeah, kind of interesting. It's like Ten of Wands is having a lot of burdens, having a lot to do. So even if you do have love that is approaching you at this time, you might be saying to yourself, like, I'm too busy, or I have too much going on in my life, or I have too many burdens that I'm dealing with right now. So definitely, that could be what's going on here. As far as work is concerned, or whatever you're working on, you go Ten of Wands to the Tower to that Eight of Pentacles in your first diagonal going this way. And so this, this would actually be good with the Tower, because it could say that instead of just working hard, again, the Ten of Wands, he's working hard, but not necessarily for a good reason, right? He's just carrying a lot of burdens, and that is working hard just to work hard. Eight of Pentacles is working hard for a good reason. It is working hard because he can see the result that's right in front of him. So he's not just like working hard, right? He has a very good reason for doing it. He's getting an appropriate result. Hard work is only bad if you're not getting a result for the work that you're doing. And so, there could be some sort of change, like in the work that you do. And I feel like you're like working on things for the right reason. Next, in the area of what's coming in for you, you have this Time is Now card. It's time to act now without hesitation. Move past the old and move forward. Literally, we said that at the beginning of the reading. You have this card. It says, make your mark. It says, stick to a decision. Yes, definitely Ace of Swords, Eight of Pentacles. It says, stick to a decision and don't allow any outside forces to sway you. Yes, Ace of Swords is a laser-like focus. It is picking one thing and making it happen. Eight of Pentacles, he is only working on one thing. He's not working on 900 things at once. He's picking one thing to complete, and he's completing it, and then he's moving on to the next thing. So I think it would be a great time for you to be focused. You have the Nine of Pentacles. She has this falcon right here, which represents the fact that she is training her focus. So being focused is clearly going to be very important for you. Nine of Pentacles is a card of like gratitude and luxuries as well. It's like pre-Empress energy, really good card. So definitely could be you increasing your earnings. I kind of feel with the, the thing about the Eight of Pentacles is that it represents material success on the horizon, like money coming in the future. So any work that you're doing right now might not like immediately lead to more money, but it looks to me like it's going to lead to more money in the future. You have the Tower. Again, not really worried about the Tower with the Star, for obvious reasons. I mean, the Star literally represents healing from a Tower moment. With the Nine of Swords and also with this new moon, like I said, even though it's happening before this week starts, doesn't matter. I feel, and I'm publishing this early anyway, so some of you might be watching this around the time of the new moon. Again, I think that some of you could be a little bit looking to the past. You could be thinking about things that have gone on in your life or things that are happening to you. But again, I don't really see this as a bad thing. And I feel that a lot of you are just kind of, looking at how you can reinvent the things that you're working on, plain and simple. You have the Star. And of course, the Star would represent healing from a Tower moment. So if you have gone through any Tower moments in the past, you could be healing from those Tower moments. The Star can also represent like a wish. The Star Lady, I should say, needs to focus on the Star, just accomplishing one thing. And the whole entire reading says you need to focus and accomplish one thing. With the Nine of Pentacles, you have the Knight of Swords. I see something moving very quickly here, or something taking off very quickly for you as well. So again, if you get started on any projects or ideas that you have, I feel things will progress very quickly. The thing about the Nine of Swords is that it can bring up a little bit of that anxiety And so, and I am picking up on that, so I'm just going to say it, that, if you're working on something, like, sometimes I think we work on a project and we start to worry that it's going to fall apart. Like, as we become more successful, we start thinking about all the things that we don't have in place. And I just feel the Knight of Swords is saying, like, slow things down. With the Tower, you have the Three of Swords. So again, this could have been a heartbreak or a separation that you could be letting go of. One thing I will say is we kind of are in a time of forgiveness. And the Three of Swords, these three swords are in your own heart. The solution to the Three of Swords is forgiveness. Forgiving a past person or a past situation. Doesn't even have to be a person. It could just be something that you dealt with or went through. And we don't have to forgive a person or a situation directly. We just have to forgive them in our heart, and we will heal our heart. With the Star, you have the King of Cups. You always get these like emotional cards with me. I'm not even saying that you are emotional. You might be, but the King of Cups is about exploring your emotions, exploring your feelings. He has very deep emotions. He's sitting in the deep ocean, and the story of the card is that he has explored his emotions to a deep level. And so I think that a lot of you, it's like you could have explored your emotions or about anything, and the Star would even represent that as well. She's about to step into the pool of universal consciousness on the Star card, and there are these ripples that are going out. They're technically going out into the universe. So your emotions with the King of Cups are going to, ripple out into the universe, and I would make sure that you are kind of expressing positive emotion or working on your emotional state with that King of Cups. And you always, like I said, you always get the King of Cups or the Queen of Cups with me, so there you go. Next, in the area of messages from your future self, you have this card that says conclusions are within reach. You have this card that says a fiery climax approaches. Yeah, so if you're like working on anything or putting anything together that you're working on, this could say that things are getting to a place where, there are conclusions. And we kind of said that earlier. You have that Grand Symphony card, which represents like everything adding up to the big picture, and the Star is your big picture card in this reading. The Star is the big picture. It's focusing on that one star and making something happen. I don't necessarily think this is like a conclusion. It feels to me like it's more, maybe I would call it like a milestone. So if you're working on a project, it's like you could be getting a chunk of the project complete, and that's what conclusion is going on here. You could be getting it to a certain level, or whatever you're working on to a certain level as well, and I definitely get that. You have the Eight of Pentacles, the Magician, and the Ace of Cups. The Eight of Pentacles is about like straightforward, diligent work. Like I said, he's focusing on one thing and one thing only. He's not focusing on 900 things at once. So I would make sure that you're only focusing on one thing at a time. That's clearly going to be the best thing for you with the Eight of Pentacles, the Star, the Nine of Pentacles, the Ace of Swords. You have the Magician. The Magician can say that you are manifesting something into your life, of course. The Magician is also about reinvention. He has a snake wrapped around his waist here, and that snake is the Ouroboros, who represents reinvention. I do feel for Taurus, I'm pretty sure I've said to you in the past, it's like there are, for Taurus, I think that there's a little bit of an attachment to your old life. And I don't think this is a bad thing, but I feel that Taurus needs to realize like some things that you used to do, like, I feel like it's attached to your identity. Like I get a weird feeling here. It's like, like let's say that your old identity, you like your job or your career in the past. I don't know what I'm trying to say here. I'm trying to clarify the message in my head, but it's almost like if you were in sales many years ago, there might be certain ways that like sales used to work back in the day, but it's like those things have changed. And I feel the Magician is saying you don't have to like throw the baby out with the bathwater here. You don't have to completely get rid of your skills, but are probably some changes that would make you more relevant today. And that's kind of the feeling I get with the Magician. You have the Ace of Cups. Ace of Cups could be love, and we do have a lot of love in this reading. Ace of Cups can also be your emotions overflowing, feeling very happy. So I do feel that there could be a lot of happiness and joy coming in for you with the Ace of Cups. I also feel that there could be, it's like your emotions could just be overflowing with that King of Cups and Star. So I would make sure that you're channeling your emotions into something. With the Eight of Pentacles, what do you know? You have the Star. So we have the Star connected to the Tower twice, which is very positive. The Eight of Pentacles with the Star and that Tower could be you finally understanding like what to work on to move your life forward. So, in a lot of ways, this could also say that you are getting answers to whatever it is that you are dealing with. And so I feel that some of you, this could just simply be answers. With the Magician, you have the Queen of Wands. Yes, definitely. If you're attracting love, I would say that you are attracting someone where there's a lot of desire in this connection. Definitely could be a fire sign. I mean, you always get fire with me. If it's not a fire sign, I would say it's like a fiery person. And, there could be a lot of attraction. Again, I'm pretty sure I've said this to you as well before, that, I think it could be a surprise. Because just based off of what's coming up here, you might not be necessarily looking for love, or you might not be expecting it. I'm not saying it's like some sort of like mind-blowing surprise or anything, but it just could be a little bit, random or surprising. With the Ace of Cups, you have the Four of Pentacles. Four of Pentacles is like stability, and I feel, in your reading, Four of Pentacles normally I don't really like because it can represent holding on too tightly to the past. But intuitively, I read intuitively, and I feel that you're increasing your stability. Now, we did talk about you holding on to like some ideas from the past. It's like I feel in some ways that you need to let some ideas go extinct. Like, I don't really have any good examples, like I said, but I mean, it's like there are YouTube channels that talk about news, for example, that get more views than the news, right? It's like the legacy media is dying, and now there are people like just YouTubers who are getting more views. So it's like the old ways are dying, the new ways are coming in, and I feel that part of this reading is definitely encouraging you to adapt to, the new world, and that's probably what you're doing. Next, in the area of the good stuff, you have this fortune card, which is great. It says, when fortune appears in your life, limitations disappear. As you sit back and watch your dreams manifest before your eyes, you are filled with a profound sense of gratitude and wonder. Nine of Pentacles, practice gratitude. You have this boss card. It says, gone are the days of answering to anyone else. Your destiny is in your own hands. Yes, that's true. I mean, this is true for everyone. I think, I think most people are being asked to take control of their destiny right now. It's literally the time that we are in. So, it is what it is. You have the Two of Swords, the Temperance card, and the King of Wands. Funny enough, a lot of people this week have had the Two of Swords in the area of the good stuff. And the Two of Swords can represent discovering another way to do something that you want to do in your life. She has this island behind her, and that island behind her represents a third place, or third place solutions. So a lot of you could be discovering solutions to problems, or not even problems, just things that you're doing in your life. And, again, like I said, there is an element of you getting answers this week showing up in this reading. You have the Temperance card. I feel like you're believing in yourself more. Strange message to get on the Temperance card. Temperance is a card of transformation or alchemy, but I feel with the Magician right next to it, it's almost like you are starting to believe that you can change your situation, that you can, that you are more in control of your situation than you realize. So, I really feel that with a lot of you with this Temperance energy for sure. You have the King of Wands, you have that boss card, so a lot of you, the King of Wands, could say that you are bossing up here. One thing that is popping into my head as well is like, I think like good bosses realize that like no one is going to care about the work more than them, right? It's like, this is not a criticism of workers or anything like that, but it's like it's just a fact. Like no one is going to care more about the business than the person who owns it, right? And so if you're being a boss, I kind of feel that message is popping into my head, where it's like if you're taking the lead on something, it's like obviously no one is going to care about it as much as you. And I don't think this should like disappoint you or anything, but I think it's just maybe a realization that you could be having. Definitely could be love as well. With the Two of Swords, you have the Six of Wands. Yeah, a lot of attention in this reading. Star twice plus Six of Wands. Very good for getting attention. Very good for success as well. With the Temperance card, you have the Moon. The Moon in the good stuff, to me, can represent clarity. Normally the Moon kind of represents a moon period where it's like you're not exactly clear on where things are going or what you're doing. But when the Moon comes up, you can get a lot of clarity. With the King of Wands, you have the Temperance card. Could be a Sagittarius, or, it could be a person with a lot of Sag in their chart that you're meeting for obvious reasons. They're also... the Temperance card, like I said, I think is about you really believing that you are the one that is in charge of changing your situation. It's like you are doing that. You have this August card. I always clarify these cards. You have this Dagger card. It says fears, worries, tense situation. Whenever we have a Mars retrograde year like we are right now, we're out of the retrograde, but doesn't matter. We're in the shadow until like May 1st or 2nd or whatever it is. And, the Dagger card, I think during Mars retrograde, we can feel like people are stabbing us in the back, or we can feel like people are doing things behind our back. It might be true. It might not be true during Mars retrograde. The whole point of Mars retrograde is to ignore it. You have this Ram card. It says a stubborn, aggressive person. Again, I tell everyone right now, especially Knight of Swords. Knight of Swords is a person who is rushing. And this doesn't necessarily mean that the people you're dealing with are bad or anything like that. But people can panic. Knight of Swords is my card of someone who's screaming, the sky is falling, something terrible is going to happen. And I would just be careful of getting caught up in that delusion, right? So be careful of like where people are coming from. You have this Wishbone card. It says a wish granted, star twice. I mean, star twice could definitely be a wish granted. You have this Pig card. It says beware of greed. Yes, ever since Uranus went into Taurus, I've been saying that people need to be very careful of get-rich-quick schemes. As a matter of fact, I say no get-rich-quick schemes during Uranus and Taurus. All the crypto scams and everything, pretty much started during Uranus and Taurus. So I would be careful of anyone who claims you can do something quickly, because it's probably not true. The thing about Uranus and Taurus is it's like get rich slow. Uranus and Taurus wants us to like think about things and have a good plan on how we're going to do something. Uranus and Taurus hates fly-by-night situations. It's like, anything that's going to enter into your life and be gone the next day. It's like Taurus wants permanence, right? That is the key word. So Uranus and Taurus wants us to build things that are permanent. That's why it's like, I think it's no mistake that we see things like AI taking off right now, which is really Pluto and Aquarius. But, at the same time, it's like, it is a lazy way out, right? Just like there are YouTube channels popping up that just only use AI, but it's not going to last forever because of Uranus and Taurus, right? So again, don't take the easy way out, and be careful of scams. You have this Inkpots card. It says problems to be resolved. This card always represents like small problems that you're going to have to deal with, which we're all dealing with right now as well. I really like this. Really good reading. Again, the readings this week have been surprisingly positive, but I think it's Mars direct. Even though we're going to have Venus retrograde March 1st, we have Mercury going retrograde at the end of the month. Still a much better month. So thank you for being here, and definitely enjoy your month.